friendly face isn't hard to find as long as you're prepared to make the effort to create one occasionally. I don't know what possessed me to think that I wasn't capable of finding happiness for myself. The reek of polish suddenly assaults my senses. Eyes too tired to care who's clowning around outside my window, seeking a simple solution to my ultra complex life. Should I be stricter in who I choose to associate with when this world is being driven blind by its own ignorance? Who am I to zip my lips when there is constant need all around me? Why should I remain silent? Why do I get so easily intimidated, forced to a whisper or an imitation of a mute by others' insistence I should keep my faith locked in a pretty Sunday box, keeping it a private and personal matter, barely sharing beyond my own self, let alone my own lacquered door. We will start again and have a brand new life in this place. We will play all our guessing games until it makes our heads crazy, attempting to figure it out. I know we wasted the opportunities in front of us when they presented themselves to us. I could have prevented my life from ending up in a more horrific result. Perhaps I am at fault for the debacle I have caused this world. Sleeping all the way from dusk to dawn seems like such a rare, exotic luxury these days, like a bird which hails from the tropical rainforest with a tail the size of Saturn that runs rings around its opposition. In the world of mucus-soaked macaws, we build our fences so tall to keep the neighbors out. We used to lean over them and have in-depth conversations. Now if you do that, the kids look at you like you're on crack. Some of us have broken bottles on the top of your compound, so intruders cut their feet when they attempt to scale the wall and sneak over into your private area. We don't grow trees just for the purpose of having something to throw onto the fire or to sit on when we study the word of life together. I put myself through the ringer. I thought that I could be a bringer of happiness for you. I didn't want the light to burn itself out from my eyes. We don't always need to look for overseas for our inspiration and ideas, but if we come from there, it's hard not to. Maybe the next generation will find it easier to develop their own language, to be all thrown in together, to see this mix of cultures as less of a clash, more as something to be embraced and celebrated. But this meshing and moulding has to occur naturally and organically. It can't be forced by the government, or else the whole project inevitably fails to yield evidence of true cohesiveness. Turn on your aortic valve. See if we resolve this conflict before our lives are done, before we've bitten that dusty treadmill, trinket from another age. They can't tell when I'm operating on autopilot, being that kid who always preferred natural foods over unhealthy preservative-drenched quick nibbles. For the sake of speed, you cause more problems than solutions. The creator of our guilty feelings doesn't always want to be the one to participate in steering our feet towards the road we should be travelling, clearing our conscience from that silt-drenched, gut-clenching, wrenching experience, having the heaving contents of your stomach churn till it gets turned upside down, pounding on the door of heaven, hoping God will let me in despite my filthy, wretched mental state. You sought peace and tranquility in places they were never meant to be discovered. What will you do when you encounter ideological opposition? Will you cave in, or will you stand bold and firm? I had a choice to make and I picked the right one. Though maybe I should have gotten someone better qualified to handle these impulses and emotions attached to my plausible plethora of possible ways to respond. The problem begins when I view a casual acquaintance as a possession or obsession. What is my transgression that you hold it against me for speaking my mind so boldly and courageously? It helps when I know I don't fight alone. Am I slightly less inhibited when I'm half asleep? Am I more likely to become traumatized and allow my eyes to wander to places God never intended them to visit? Keep them on your face, don't let them slip below your neck, or else you will make a wreck of me on the coral reef. You will cause me to experience an excess of guilt and grief. I just dig deeper into your love, sweet Jesus. I just concentrate on the fact that I am alive because of you. Delight in your goodness. Contemplate this fire and passion you have placed inside of me. Don't big note or big up myself too much. Just praise you for the fact that things don't get too heated, either in the direction of human sensuality or the tendency towards arguments I have when I refuse to back down until somebody loses an eye or two. Feels like I'm talking about the ability of my head's comprehension. I know it must be you, Lord, answering my prayers, sticking your words in my feeble mouth again. 'Cause I know how weak I am when I try and operate in my own strength, like a timid little mouse in the face of danger, unable to inspire the elephant with the confidence to flap its ears and take a spin around the theatre. The power was always inside you, placed there by God. It was never in the feather, it was always in his strength. You don't even want to look at me, 'cause I remind you of your past and make you think about the kind of life you want. You were always jealous of. Perhaps I remind you of all the people who mistreated you when you were at school. I am the face of your torturers, the worst example of my people. I am the face of those who would string you up soon as look at you. I am the face of the ones who locked you in fetters and you just can't look past their faces to see mine instead. That's the problem with you. If you're willing to vote for someone, yet if one of their people wants to approach you with the possibility of connecting hearts, suddenly you put up a front. Do I bring the gangster out in you, or do I bring that godly preacher woman out? I know I came at you hot and strong, had to turn back around and come correct, but by that time it was already too late. You already knew I had a little mixed up nature in me. I was throwing my trash at you alongside my treasure. Any one of you deny me the pleasure of your company? There was far too many obstacles between us. We can only make so many compromises before we no longer recognize our old selves in the mirror. Before that innocent kid we once considered ourselves to be suddenly looks more like the devious bulge we turned out to be. That grown-up monstrosity, killing time till I die, but waiting for a chance to swoop down from the wire. Feed the parking meter every time it expires. Come and visit my club set. It's a full deck I'm operating with if you couldn't tell. If you needed doctors to prove it. I know how to bust moves, kid with ice cream smoothness, but you wouldn't know anything about the soothes I produce for wounded spirits. Just a bedraggled, unkempt harlequin you perceive before you. Just a mischievous miscreant you painted as a wretch. You wrote off as yesterday's news. Not even I has been more like I never was, continually dreaming of success, yet unable to obtain it even to save my life. We are going to take a white-knuckled ride over to the last time you pretended to let things slide, yet truthfully behind closed doors it was only a moment before your claws came out and scratched a bleeding mess across my face. They say I'm off with the fairies most of my days. I don't discriminate, I just disseminate information, whether or not you approve of it. I will not quit standing up for what I believe in, even if it costs me my freedom, even if they lock me in the cage or stick a bullet to my head. Remember what the world was like before this subtle takeover, when there was still a greater measure of godliness in the mindset of our leaders, when they weren't swayed by the media, 'cause the media kowtowed to the will of the church. When people would respond in kind, being disgusted by a presentation over what was an abomination in God's sight, being treated with fanfare, celebrated and honored at the expense of what is good, holy and right. That just gets shoved in the background. Relegated to Sunday broadcast, family programming is otherwise a fat joke. Even cartoons and live-action kids programs are not immune from the infection of the world system. Babylon infiltrating with New Age philosophies and theosophy, teaching kids to be rebellious, like little devils even in the homes of angels. It is easy to become disheartened by the setbacks we experience on a daily basis. We thrive so much on stereotypes, we don't even bother to dissect them. Stick them under the microscope and analyze them for truth and lie portions. Fibs of gigantic proportions are often bespoken by politicians without even blinking a sketchy eyelid. You will wait for your owner to arrive and fill you up again into the atmosphere. Like I anticipate being flooded with joy tomorrow morning, in the presence of my almighty Saviour, in the sacred halls of my King. bringing this sweet love into the atmosphere. I know I am far from an expert at ushering in your Holy Spirit. Be with me in this moment. Give me an inner resolve beyond myself, unexplainable by any other means. Let me remain always ever found in you. Hold me tighter to your grip when the world tries to rip me away from you. I don't need to pat a cake with your name on it. 'Cause every day you will be a new birth in my spirit. The fusion of mine with yours is gradually occurring. You are stirring me to action. I defer to your authority. I spit upon my arrogance. I squint and see with my mind's eye you moving in my being's depths. There are certain mentalities I am still straining to declare dead on arrival inside my psyche. You split the votes over those who would choose you based on the beliefs of their parents, those who have an intimate personal relationship with you, and those who are just attracted by your miracles yet are unwilling to commit to a lifetime of friendship and deep connection with you. I don't just want people to tell me what they think I want to hear. I seek sincerity. Above all else, let me be honest in how I relate to others. That perfection isn't promised to anyone inside of heaven, only your help in the journey. We are pretty good at lying to ourselves that we got it all together when we're falling apart inside. Isn't that why we need to refuel in your loving arms? We need those reminders that we are still able to achieve greatness, that we can conquer this mountain and towers over us. Glowering with stern, straight eyes, it may simply be a matter of you enabling me to put one foot in front of the other to take those final steps en route to paradise, the fulfillment of promise. Time mass in a country has things, life is grass. This conundrum is driving me balmy. If you want to harm me, you have to take on a whole army of me. Nah, I'm an empty threat, but if you try to mess with my body of Christ battalion, if you think you saw a victory over me, you ain't seen nothing yet. Try to take the stuffing out of me, but God will fill it up instantly, 'cause he loves his little titty bear, and he won't allow his lips to taste despair forever. We are becoming a lot more segmented and fragmented as a society. We only spend a couple of minutes making acquaintances with each other. We are so quick to dismiss each other's potential for redemption. How can you possibly tell who is a real and who is a fake? Can you see with X-ray vision through to the heart? Do you know the contents of my soul? You grossly underestimate my intelligence. You never bother to take me serious unless it's time to send up those flares of danger and distress. Signals to everyone approaching there is clearly a problem here. So I shut you down where previously we were in the process of building up trust. Now it has all corroded into dust. I know I send you mixed signals when it comes to displaying affection, being cold 1 minute but then hot the next. Like someone inside me is playing with the depths of my emotions. Things we take for granted seem strange and alien to you. Like a fish out of water, everything in the world looks different. And you don't know how to handle it, being pulled out of your usual environment by circumstances beyond your control, or at least that's what you convince yourself is the case. I don't blame you that you have a system of roads that always leads back to the twin bane of the wolf mother's heart. Is that why you, in that way you would, is that why you adopt this system of processing the world around you? Recognizing what you once perceived as mere brainwashing and false advertising was in fact the cold hard truth. Can you take it when you know what's right in front of you? Can you swallow it and stick it in your soul like a happy little pill? There's a very hairy caterpillar that just wants to sleep at night. It will watch over your window as you hold your pillows tight. Don't give up the fight. If you struggle to understand why it is exactly this world refuses to conform to your expectations, do you ever wonder why people are raging war over religion? If we are all thinking exactly the same way, then why would we be tearing at each other's throats? Why would some of us believe God has a son and others that he is all alone in the universe? If we all believe the same thing, why would some of us believe that heaven is a literal place and others merely a state of non-existence? Why would some of us think that this world is an illusion and others acknowledge the tangible reality of it? The dual worlds of the flesh and the spirit. You bash your head against brick walls of what seems like billions of billowing beliefs. Winnowing you and still you remain blowing incandescent. We you barely scratch the surface. All of us are seekers, searchers, admit it or not. We ask questions at times. The whirring of queries goes on in our minds. We don't have to smile all the time, but we must always remember that God is there when it feels like the embers of our willpower have completely burned out. He will pick up the pieces for us. He will pick up the pieces of us that have been shattered and scattered beneath our shutters. Our butterfingered resolve. Do not push yourself over the edge of a cliff when the storm comes and the rain falls. It's hard to wrap your tail around. You make a hash-shaped lettuce head of it. Be jealous of me if you like, I'm still alive. I hid in my arc-shaped hole in the wall. I had to fit in with tradition. Dodge that presidential lazy ginger cat. Oh, was it marmalade that adorned me? Those gruesome, well-worn paws. It's been a while since I played pretend. Eating invisible sandwiches, saying grace with just one word. We are full of carbon emission, yet the prospects of spending eternity in hell does that strike terror in our heart? Does that make us think twice about what we are doing with our lives? I guess not for everyone, but some of us are not so debased or certain in our guaranteed lack of certainty. Don't close the curtains on the possibility of love existing outside your own self just yet. We jab in the dark, we stab ourselves to death, we horrify ourselves at the thought of never getting caught out. There are occasions when we want to be disciplined but don't know how to ask for punishment or restrictions. We want to avoid the company of somebody and are looking for an excuse not to hang out with them. Believe it or not, this does happen. Will we be tapping on heaven's door or death's at least before we wake up to our need for Jesus? What purpose do you think we were created for? If not to bring glory to our Lord, we converted to this concept yet that we simply can't live without Him. It always used to make me laugh when statistics described half a person. I found myself repeating reflex sections of my youthful friends. I have to watch myself before I lay myself open to accusations of mockery. I promise it occurred accidentally. I wish I was a lot more useful to you than I am right now. It may cost me every relationship I know in my life except for my immediate family, and those so intricately connected to me spiritually. I know nobody will get in the way of the bond that we share. As long as I don't jeopardize it by doing something like falsely accusing them of stealing off me. But even that incident wasn't beyond the redemption powers of forgiveness and reconciliation. People may appear to be talking at a level above my head, describing terminology that is foreign to me, forcing me to grapple with concepts that are so far beyond my reasoning capacity. It's like I have had a successful search for extraterrestrial intelligence. It's doing my knocking, no wind of anxiety to see the earth being ripped to shreds like a goat does a brand new coat when it gets the chance to sink its teeth into it. You don't need me to get old, bad, like and tough with you. Dry your eyes, my little guppy. You can conquer the stuffy with the help of divine hands if you set your mind to it. I didn't expect to see you again, looking so different from how you once were. It's hard to recognize you with that anorak and speckled, sparkly show. We have flaws in our thinking. We are only hoodwinking ourselves, drinking too much soda and expelling gas from our systems, laughing ourselves into conniptions. If your ears are burning, it doesn't mean somebody's talking about you. Please remember that God is always thinking about you, even when you convince yourselves that nobody cares enough to spare a single thought for your soul. Your souls are getting worn out. You were torn up inside over the loss of love and the scorn of those who never bothered to dig beneath the surface of your skull. Patching up your leaky hull, sliding back and forth from port to starboard on a storm-tossed sea. Apart from heaven itself, I can't imagine anywhere I'd rather be right here, right now. I've got to teach myself not to complain so much. Your heart is top-notch in my collection.
I don't want to stray so far from your side that I can never take notice of the multitude of ways you provide for me. We are truly a mixed bag of influences. Don't let this mediocre culture stamp out your uniqueness. I can't picture myself rolling with you. I just keep strolling along, hoping the day will arrive when I no longer get vexed about complex situations I don't have the answer to, because Jesus does. If we only bother to ask what happened to our originality. How do we allow our mentality to become so captured and enraptured by the thoughts of others that we forgot how to be creative? Let me not take any more sedatives. Too much sedentary activity is no good for me. My waistline expands even as my horizons become thinner and my dreams become dimmer in the distance. Let me remain forever transfixed by your wonders. How many blunders have I committed only to discover at a later date that it wasn't fixable by human beings? You set my feet back on terra firma, yet to your holy throne I stay tethered and anchored forever. I don't even ever need to conceal my identity from you. It is difficult to fathom the heights and the depths of your love for us. Everyone wants your affection, but they don't all want the sacrifice required to walk amongst your heavenly realms in Cloud City. You tower above my impermanent insecurities. You can say my work ethic leaves a lot to be desired. If I was fired out of a cannon and shot out across the desert, I couldn't be more shocked as a result. As when you told me it was over forever, that you were no longer prepared to tolerate any more of my silly little games. You knew your worth far too much to sink so low as to accept my word as love, my word as spawn, my word as truth. Not only yours will do to safeguard every oath or covenant we let slip out. As much as you get a kick out of your current situation, or you're subconsciously performing still, surely one day you will reach breaking point, and the patience you will display towards me will no longer be present. When that day arrives, I shall still light the 7 prongs on my candle holder and march uphill. Some things we do for traditional popularity, and others seem to defy logic entirely, to spin wit for witness' sake. We sped so fast, forgot to put on all the brakes. God has a way of protecting his kids. He stands between us and those intending to bring harm to us. How speedy do your shutters open when you spot me coming down the street? Money can quickly become your religion when you don't make any time in your life for God, or leave any space for him to move in you. I wasn't counting on walking down this lonely road. When I return to my abode, I am reminded of it like of an inhabitant who shares my heart, other than those attached to me through Christ's family or the other kind of blood ties. Or the other kind of blood links in the flesh and the spirit. I decided to bite the bullet, go ahead and do it. Let you in on a little secret. I can get kind of rowdy around about this time of night. Actually, my most spurious activities mostly falling asleep in sermons in non-nocturnal hours, when no good boys and gals deserve the fruit of the spirit manifest right before their very eyes. Just in case you need a proof I'm not aligned with the fiber of lies. Everyone wants to be Lord of the Flies until they realize what that is. Get a little kid to be boss of your rings, and don't blame her or him if they end up sticking them down a gap. Do you really think you're all that in a bag of chips? Why don't you show your tears but keep a stiff upper lip? I've lost my grip like a koala with butters middle over its claws. Tried to swim in the water and not get chased by shark or crocodile jaws. I'm a droopy jaws. Mighty in spirit, serving Emmanuel only, never surrendering. The most poverty-stricken people are those who don't know you personally, who don't have you living inside their hearts, guiding them home. I forgot about all the things you did for me in the past. In truth, you helped me out more times than I possibly could discern the ability to recognize. I will not write your miracles off as coincidences. I will not pretend my actions are completely and totally devoid of consequences. Help us not to be insensitive towards other people's feelings. Even when we're dealing with subjects that are difficult to approach, help us vary our approach when it's required. Not be so stubborn and stuck in our ways that we completely write off the possibility that there isn't more than one way of doing things. Showing your love, you help me reach the check-in counter more times than not. Before the plane takes off, before they have everything organized, and there's no chance I'm going to be allowed to have the rules bent for me. Cause of some stuck in the mud mentality, all for the sake of a fancy cup of coffee, drifting off into delirium and fantasy. Was it that 1 week of church I skipped when I could have taken the opportunity? What if you had something life-changing waiting for me beyond the doors of the sanctuary? Hoping against hope that I'm right, not wrong this time, clinging in desperation to my one remaining leaf of faith. All the rest have been ripped from my branches in this nasty weather. I felt my trunk being lacerated by lightning whips, yet still my roots stood firm. Planted as I was in the living water, bringing forth fruit in the current season. Your love transcends a reason, though I've got plenty to adore you. I can't think of any why you should want to cherish me. Perish the thought of losing my close connection with you. I am famished for your good news. Your words are golden treasures. Your company is the greatest pleasure. I don't consider it a chore to read your word. It's an act of leisure. Even when I study hard to dig up the meaning, all of the words of your human nature in red, mixed with divinity in the same body, cure these melancholy feelings in me. There are days when I'd rather hide from the world outside my window, but I know you want me to get out there and be obedient to you. Spread your message so your Holy Spirit can convict them of righteousness and judgment in a loving attitude, speaking the truth about sin and hell and heaven as well. Let me listen to your voice when there are so many contradictory voices in my life, giving opposing messages about how I should behave, act, and think. You can do exceedingly and abundantly above the limitations that we impose on ourselves. You give us energy when we lack enthusiasm and motivation. I'm closely affiliated with you. I am part of your house of heroes. I am one of the faithful ones who never give up on you, even when they said it was illegal to speak your name at Parliament. In the workplace, in the courthouse, or at school, I wasn't frowning on you when I said I needed you desperately. The pages of my life book are flipping front to back in the wind. I grinned at the thought of you living in my heart. It gives me a greater contentment than any I had previously claimed to know outside of you. Perhaps I was just faking before to get those persuasive ones off my back, but now I'm really desperately desiring. We have to position ourselves in a poise of vigilance for you to speak. I don't know how I figured out you'd still be here when the morning comes. I just don't know what I consider living that high luxurious life. To be simply having the privilege of knowing you intimately. You can never do enough to help eliminate the pain and suffering in this world. Thinking constantly about your clear and presence. What if you anticipate every move I make? You hear the cry of my heart. I could always guarantee that your way of thinking slightly unnerves everyone who is exposed for my steed is your word of life. We have so many false ideas about you that need changing. Whatever convinced us you couldn't experience emotions like anger, joy, and pain. Let me not mistake it for another's voice when I think I hear you calling me. Just like he did the prophet when he was a little lad and he thought it was a substitute for his dad. He thought it was a little lower priest, but it was the Most High One, the sun that lights the sky, calling you to reply to his urging. Is it a lonely path? It is a lonely path that I travel sometimes, hunting for the sunshine, longing for it to break through the dark clouds that surround my heart. Set me apart, Lord. I want to quit living like a hypocrite. It's taken me a lot of time to figure out for myself. I didn't want to go down this path again. You carved up a new one for me. You placed a new heart inside me in replacement for the old one that was all twisted and used up, wasted on foolish living, wretched to a fault. Thought I finally had one problem figured out, only to discover I was still stuck with the same old one. Perhaps you could convince me that life is still worth living. It's not easy to be forced to start your life over again. Just when I felt like giving up on myself, you breathed this back of dead old moldy bones suddenly back to life again. Don't think I won't take you up on your free offer of eternal life, 'cause you know I will do anything just to break out of this shell. If you want something bad enough, sometimes you might just get it. But wishful thinking alone achieves nothing. It's only when our wishes and desires are teamed with your power that anything of significance and substance ever gets accomplished. You have distinguished yourself by being the only one whose fires of passion for me haven't extinguished yet. Help me not live plagued by regret any longer. I've waited way too long to make sense out of this crazy life. I tried to paint the picture of a free man, yet truly I was still a prisoner locked inside my own mind. Can you find something beautiful in this life of mine when I can only see it as ugly? The stinkiest flower in the garden, afraid that I'm going to disappoint you yet again. Failing to live up to my full potential, unable to see anything of worth in myself, yet always in you I see wonder. I have a reason to wake up in the morning because of you, who have found heaven besides you now. I'm trying to figure out why I even bother coming around. Surely your house should not be a place where fear and anger is present, alongside intimidation and pure hatred simmering just below the surface of gratitude that can't even manage to crack a smile for the sake of keeping up appearances in my presence. This world is getting more distant from me. I can't hold anyone's attention for too long. I want to shoot this sucker with silence. I could fill it with words, but I have to feel like they are being welcomed. It's not like I have to try too hard to turn on the taps of my brain and get a conversation flowing. I could rabbit up for hours about my thoughts, beliefs, and opinions. Yet I want to get the rest of the world to open up and share with me too. Maybe not the whole entire galaxy, just to select me. Must I be the outcast when I can outlast most of these MCs wannabes that only wanna remind me of my past? Can I make something of this life of mine? 'Cause right now it feels like a life of slime. I don't want it to be honest. Can you give it to someone else? Why do I have to endure so much hardship? It's hard to love a woman who doesn't even want to acknowledge that you exist. It's a challenge to be patient, which seems something that I sorely lack. I don't want to cause bruises in our interactions, but it seems like the possibility of friendship is riddled with bullets, sinking like the ship they use for target practice in the harbor of bells. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I feel like I lost the battle in the war as well. I think it's swell that you should carry on in the face of danger. What if a stranger becomes a friend? What if the war itself comes to an end before the world does? I often wonder how difficult my life can get. Am I being given a taste of my own medicine? I know why I've given others a dose of my comatose version of self-expression before this day occurred, before I got stirred up inside myself, determined not to repeat the mistakes of the past, wanting to outlast all the competition that comes up against me. All that spiritual opposition I encounter just because I'm digging deeper into your spirit, just because I'm not prepared to call it quits on my sweet Jesus just yet. Could the situation work itself out without me even having to do something? Can I save somebody the embarrassment of winding up with egg on their face? What if I am all depleted of goodness and graciousness? That's when I turn to you for my hope and inspiration. You give me validation. You are my consuming passion. I won't be a slave to fashion. Let's make slavery unfashionable, even amongst those that consider it their constitutional right. Let's not be polite about it, let's not mince words. I need to wake up to that possibility that God is able to save me. Though I crave some slightly suspicious things, hanging on for dead life, clinging to your Holy Spirit, fruit like a parachute. I need that goodness, kindness, and self-control to help me combat the cruelty of this world. I feel like there are folks who can't wait to get rid of me. They can't wait to be done with chilling in my company. Rumors circling the walls round my sheepish carcass. I seriously have to reconsider my future plans. I am the least likely candidate for a lover or a friend. I follow trends way too much. I don't know what original ever is or was. I'm floored by your flawlessness. The fact that you love me nevertheless, despite my occasional lack of willingness to go the distance from here to eternity. Trusted you above all others, just when I thought life couldn't get any more scary or nightmares. When I thought the worst thing I had to worry about was where I'm going to find the next dozen, and I'm gonna sweep you up your feet. Along comes another polyunsaturated batch of peanut flavored problems, probing my insecurities about my self-identity. The last thing I need right now is another provocation in my peaceful, undisturbed neighborhood. Let the roaring races be the worst of it. I'm yet to figure out where did all the money go that I saved up long ago. I faded it away. I should have gotten shares of in Frito-Lay just threw my life away. Now it feels like I'm really back to basic street. I can't even tell what's hiding just around the corner. What if I want to do something with my life other than this? Too bad, too sad. I made my bed, I laid in it. I paid the price for following some bad advice. It clearly wasn't my conscience. I just ignored its clear logic just to decimate my plans. Why don't you just see me an angel for when I'm weeping uncontrollably and I need a stronger comfort than my pillow and more bed sheets? The uncontrollable mouse that wandered all over the house until my brain exploded all over its squeaky little rodent face. I'm not making a whole lot of sense right now. It's probably because I haven't been getting enough sleep. I wake up in the middle of the night wondering why I'm even living and breathing. Surely you must have a plan and purpose for this life of mine, sweet Jesus. I'm sorry I got myself in trouble again. Not just angry at myself for getting caught red-handed. It was never my intention to drift so far from your presence. Now I'm trying to make things right. I know this battle is getting stronger now. I forgot the reasons I'm resisting the arrest of my attention by the enemy, letting my guard down. Makes me weak and vulnerable, easily infiltrated and intimidated. There are some thoughts I should have kept locked outside my door. I shouldn't have allowed the evil one any entry in me. Now I am suffering the consequences of my actions for opening up these psychic gates. Should I have said you are the reason for I do this? Yes, probably, most definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, cloud over certainty. I tend to get a little less cerebral late at night. I hold my pillow tight, don't want to think about my life or my complete and total lack of a work ethic. Putting up until tomorrow what I could get done today. I always have a heavy volley of excuses up my sleeve. Why I can't give to charity. Why I can't do more to help somebody other than the moon man in the mirror. See, I'm clutching at straws here, hoping nobody draws the wrong conclusions about me. Some of them have written me off as yesterday's garbage already. They treat me like an alien, they easily dispose of me. I know I gotta stop chasing chicks that are ticking, cause I wouldn't want some of a dude coming between my woman and I. There goes conviction, cutting a blunt bush knife through my conscience again. See it glinting in the sunlight, a hint of the life I could have had. If I didn't always choose to live this life, there's a brighter spark over the next horizon. Perhaps I was never meant to be anything other than anything more than passing. Father, but my spirit disagrees. Do I improve by degrees? Yes, my body is biodegradable. Is this post-apocalyptic wasteland of my mental meanderings wandering round the planet, trapped inside my mind, bouncing between galaxies? Where will I find you? Still loving me, though I didn't call you my position-in-chief above all other obsessions anymore. Though I struggle with this urge to settle old scores, I know vengeance is yours. Still I find myself like a frothy-mouthed hound, chomping at the bit, baying full blood. Can you find something worth holding on to in me? Give me a reason to keep on gripping my sanity. If I haven't lost it already, if I ever owned it in the first place, I'm wrestling with multiple legions of snarling dragons in my mind. This is the region I'm in, somewhere between reality and dreams. Your love somehow slipped in. Oh Lord, I have beaten my brow over this moment I can't take back again. A slip of the tongue, an error in judgment, a plummeting toehold on the cliff of self-control. How can I conquer this mountain all alone on my own? I know I can't do it without you. My radio station isn't my savior, but the music I listen to helps me develop a taste for the deeper things of you. Let me savor the flavor of your Holy Spirit's fruit. Reboot me when I'm drained of energy, when my spirit longs to choose holiness, but my flesh refuses to compute. You make us do observations about the nature of mankind, how we tend towards it. Hypocrisy more often than not. I would lose the plot without you. I am not giving you a chance to do your work in me. Perhaps the best way for you to reach me is in my subconscious mind, giving me dreams and visions I never want to leave behind, guiding my thoughts and decisions all the days of my life, waiting for your return to this earth. You came to us via virgin birth. I am hoping your truth will be emerging from me more frequently and rapidly, and let me not act so rapidly. I am a taper, wandering through the jungle, escaping my bungling rhythms of ecstasy. Save me, search me, and purge me of whatever is the opposite of you inside of me. I know the side of heaven I will always be far from holy, though I can be near it when I call upon your Holy Spirit. Sneak into my thoughts like a little mouse, take over the house of my mind and heart. You know the way I wanna be isn't how I am right now. Show me how I can cut off the buzz of the enemy. Let me tune into you, scream louder than my temptations. You were giving me the strength of to defeat that beast. My addiction beat the beauty out of me and brutalized me into this ugly creature that you see before you. I was made in your image, but then I went and made a mess of it. I splattered paint all over it. I made myself all bloody and bruised in spirit. I let down the drawbridge and suddenly all these nasty creeps came rushing into me. Yet still you remain in me. You reign the strongest out of all of us. It's trying to remind mixed of mine and got my choices. I didn't possess a coherent thought in my body. I was no good to anybody. I just want to sleep my life away today and need to sober up, stir myself into wakefulness. You assist me better than caffeine. You love me despite the gangrene spreading through my spirit. I want to do the things that please you, that say thank you for your love, thank you for your blood. Washing me clean on the inside of my soul and mind. I got that you still have a lot to do with me, but in the process of my journey, I won't keep your truth in a box. I won't hide it for myself away from the prying eyes of the world. Even though I'm a pipsqueak, you can make a superhuman dynamo out of me. You can increase your nature in me. It is possible to become more holy. I'm addicted to your big virtuousness like a Hippocrates dry land. Yet it can't help its feet from sinking, slipping off those muddy banks into the thirsty water. Deny all these murmurs from the ground and grumbling crowd. I want to get loud for you. Spread that good news wherever it hasn't previously been viewed. Perhaps I should take an approach that's less crude. Don't allow my head to protrude over the headlines today or tonight. Help me in this fight. You enable me to win this war. It's only with your assistance that it's possible to travel the great distance between who I am and how I wish to be. I could never want you too much for my own good. Unlike humans, you are always for my benefit. There is nothing detrimental about you at all. For you I am nourished and I flourish like a well-fed and watered palm tree. I've never learned to be self-sufficient. That isn't so deficient to me. Cause you made us to be interdependent. Even as we increase or reduce our rates of productivity, I'm yet to recognize all the many ways you have been working on my life. So many miracles, I can't count them all at once. Unexplainable by medical science, divine or rational dismissal. We are way too complex to simply occur by accident. Hear my unrelenting litany of repentances. I wouldn't blame you if I now you started to doubt the sincerity of them. Yet you tell me your forgiveness is instant. Your second chances are limited only by the portion of breath you will give me for the duration of my time on this planet. This should make me more cautious, less careless, cause I know not how much time I've got left before it's all over and done. As this world increases in wickedness, increase your righteousness in me. I don't want to fall away from you. I'm calling you to see me through. I see crosses and almost crosses hidden everywhere around me. Anytime I view an intersection of images, there an invisible crosses up in front, smack bang in the middle of it. To some people it doesn't seem to matter the efforts I go through to get them what they're seeking. Don't bother asking questions if you don't express appreciation for my research. I feel like saying to them, but I don't. Some people think I have all the time in the world just to waste on them. As I waste away, I begin my leaky pen, mud, splattered walls, or is it blood squished in with all those of these other runs? Getting churning from corner to corner, screaming for a bucket of slop, not my style. I'm about to pop up out of here. For a second, close my poor signed eyes and disappear. Pretend for a moment I was born less violent, less prone to angry outbursts and occasional mess-ups, though I Dwell in the camp of your adversary, let him never become me. Let me never claim him as my kindred or identity. Seems like I'm splintering away from this hinterland. Seems like my life is just one on constant wonderland. My heart is frozen and there's no way to melt it. I treat you so cold, I tell the savage blow to it. I can only blame myself for this lonely state of affairs. Though I'm beginning to love my solitude, those moments when it's just you and I are becoming more frequent. What is occurring inside that mind of yours? How is it that you're still stirring my spirit, though I'm stirring my speech? You are awakening me to life, walking in the light. I need a pretty decent reason to get back there. It seems my life is mapped out for me. My freedom is limited. I'm chained to the dollar previously exhibited as a category from my past. What I claim to have transcended, yet still it's there. Lingering, lacking on what a ghost spooking me out. Yet this tiny seed of faith still sprouts out of me. You are the one who placed it in me, and nothing ever can replace it. I get that some people may question my sincerity when the history of my search engine betrays my lack of a meager amount of confidence placed in you. To bring a perfect woman into my life, free of my striving and effort. Can all the pieces just fall together by themselves without my pushing and shoving? I know you can work like that, as well as through the result of actions. Please don't let us be divided like a bunch of factions, but when united we are relentless factions. Preferring the fictional account of our lives to the real thing, deferring to your authority, referring to you as my constant source of help and hope. You are bejeweled in splendor, I am bedazzled by your majesty. Soon my frazzled nerves, reach afraid at the end, slender hand, pull me out of this pit. My sins and scrambled brain cells have thrown me in, locked in a jail cell in my heartless heart, banish any callousness in me. Let me celebrate all the successes and mourn with them over their failures. Help me to point them towards the little victory you have won in the life ever stomping on the devil's head when he tries to rise up against me. I won't let them take my people out. The time will never come for that. It will never be an appropriate course of action to give my soul satisfaction. I'm making you the main attraction. How could I drift so far, so fast? I wasn't aware of the lasting implications of the war raging in me. You are preaching parables from my wooden ears. You are speaking truth in whispers only loud enough for me to hear. Help me stand proud of my love for you. Let me not hide your word under a rock, even when I'm ashamed of my deeds, even when it seems I only praise you in words, not actions. Let your grace stream over me. Cause me to walk upright and get back on track. Let me not allow a little setback to cause me to slip and slide back into my old, primarily demonically influenced ways. I won't just praise you sonically, but with each part of my life, my cerebellum gets plagued by such traveling concerns. Money burns holes in my fingers, linger will be still. Slow, steady climb uphill, reaching my home beyond the stars as their luminosity spotlights my scars. I get scared of all those eyes looking at me. I struggle to praise and worship you properly. I guess you could say I do it sloppily and haphazardly without the right heart attitude. My eyes are too disturbed by all that pretty body, so I have to shut them tight to stop telling that from blasting off behind them. Please don't remind me of the past I thought I left behind. I need you, Holy Spirit. Your Holy Spirit's conviction to help me through this life. Need to quit feeding my addictions. Recognize your hands moving on and in my life. I see you working through me. Even though my mind is so warped right now, even though I'm doubting every word of my self-talk right now, maybe it's not really me talking to me, but you talking to me instead. Conversing with me. This is a dialogue, not a monologue. I know you can cut through all this noise inside my head. I feel so chained to my addictions. Why should my gender make a difference as to whether someone is willing to converse with me? How did this universe get made anyway? By your breath alone, by your hands we were formed. That's what makes us special from all the other creatures you have made. And we carry your image, not just your spark of life in us, and we have a soul and a destination beyond this grave. Your grace saves me from my selfishness. Your love pours out on me despite my wickedness. You bring up the righteousness in me. You take me to that higher holy place. I could never replace your love. I just want to embrace you, my sovereign Lord and King. Forevermore my heart will sing of how you have broke through all these traps and spider webs, all the walls, mine shafts, barbed wire fences and snake-filled pits I put up, attempting to prevent you from reaching me. Still you can walk through an electric fence unharmed. What kind of fool was I to think anyone or anything would keep me from getting to my sweet, sweet love? I do not want to abandon your heart. I do not want to be so casual, cool and dismissive when you come around to talk to me. I know the difference between being a rouseabout critic for the sake of it and actually doing the work of the Spirit, convicting with righteousness and judgment. You came into this world to save us from this hellishness, we were born into as a consequence of our first parents. Offer of life, you will suffice when no love is done and lost. You are my first protocol and not just my last resort. You are the one when I turn to when I'm desperate and restless, when I can't get that image out of my mind of myself. Cringed over the toilet bowl, purging my guts up, representing the state of my soul without you, devoid of charm and hope. In you I remain wistful, in you I find peace and joy. You can find me wrestling with my nature that sees the possibility and potential as if it is the present. Seeing the danger inherent in getting too up close and personal, you can heal me and restore me. I will live just for your glory. It's killing me to resist the call of those voices, approving one second, disapproving the next, moving in my heart. Though I got more kindness and cruelty thrown my way, remarks can be cutting enough to put me off for life. If I didn't have a thick skin, if I wasn't the pick of your newborn litter, before people think I've got a swelled head, let me remind them we are all your favourite, blessed and highly favoured by our precious Lord and Saviour, whose love is both simultaneously personal, intimate, universal and corporate. Dodging accusations thrown around like darts around the room, barely missing me just beyond their trajectory. It seems the world that was once dreamed possible is now becoming even more likely so. Why did I have to let go of the hand of the one I love? Maybe if I never did, I'd never discover the one you want for me was hiding just beyond the tree, floating just beyond the sea. Golfers prepared to tee off as the horse and rider gee up. Giddy with excitement, thinking of the future possibilities. I can find my expectations mutating. I find it hard to justify purchases like I used to do, especially when my faith family is coming under threat of attack. I don't have time or money to waste on mediocre believers pushing half-hearted products to authenticity. Hoping you're admitting me through the doors of paradise. I don't have to be, I stop to impress you. I get depressed thinking of the opportunities I have let go because of the hunger to make something happen. Tripping over my tongue, tightly gripping the handlebars, wishing I could soar among the stars, hot-footing it out of here. I didn't think that I was going to establish what will hopefully be a lasting connection today. Re-energize me when I'm sapped of strength. Be the life raft keeping me from bubbling in the ocean's broth. You found me when I was lost and paid the cost for my freedom with your blood. Now grace and mercy pour down like a flood of love on me. Everywhere I go, you are ruling and reigning over my soul. You have my situation under complete control, so I don't have to worry cause you paid the toll. Your glory we extol. I'm getting spiritually swollen, fit to bursting, thirsting after righteousness. Please don't close the curtains on this life to share. The veil has been torn, so I might live without regret. Let me not forfeit the blessings of my inheritance in you. Thanks for taking a chance on me, even when the breakthrough seemed practically impossible. It hasn't reckoned with you yet. It hasn't reckoned with you. Challenge hadn't met you yet. There's no such phrase as I can't in your dictionary. We can do all things through you who strengthens us. We limit ourselves so much, believing the lies of the enemy. We need to see people as you see them, see their potential for redemption, not the plethora of problems that plague them. I know I don't always live like my soul is consecrated to be part of your royal priesthood. I blame others for the mistakes I make when I know it's not they that are always at fault. But often it's the way I interpret and process what they are doing that causes me to stumble. It's not like they force my eyes to look at their pictures or twisting my fingers till I acquiesce and follow them as friends. Help me to be that bright light shining in the darkness of this world. Let me be beaming for you. Tears of gratitude streaming down my cheeks that you would still find something useful in me. Could these opportunities be a result of my decision to walk in obedience towards you in one area of my life at least? Is it because I am being pressured, perhaps, that it works more like volcanoes in stress, making ugly lumps of coal into beautiful sparkling diamonds? You cause caterpillars to grow into butterflies. It's in the struggle that they come out of the darkness of their cocoon into the light. Without enduring the tension and trauma, they die. Is it the drama we experience that helps to shape the potential for greatness in us? That seed you have placed in our hearts from birth. Your eyes witness the equinox before it occurs. When the road ahead is a blur, you give me focus and direction, make corrections where you need to in my life. My days on this planet are drawing to a close. I've got to be so much stronger than I've been in the past. Like a clumsy oaf stumbling my way from one going nowhere relationship into another, missing the golden apple of opportunity. When it was dangled right in front of me, you will take me on a journey into the heart of the sunshine out of my life. Let me be one of your faithful witnesses. I don't want the whole world checking me down. It's enough to know that those I love know where I am spiritually and physically. As long as you continue to be the destination of my soul, I know there's hope for me. Let me never drift away from your innocence and purity. You were born and you died sinless.
Go away, you horrible bunch of birds. Go on.
I'm shining in my life. Let me be one of your faithful witnesses. I don't want the whole world tracking me down. It's enough to know that those I love know where I am spiritually and physically. As long as you continue to be the destination of my soul, I know there's hope for me. Let me never drift away from your innocence and purity. You were born and you died sinless. You wore that thorny crown so I can win this fight. Try to do what's right, electrify my life. I may get so close to you with frightening and force me simultaneously. Not everything goes right in my life, but you keep looking down on me in love, Father up above. I can't shove you in a box, you won't ever give up fighting for me till my lips can no longer expel carbon dioxide. You are my guiding light on a dark and stormy night, when all around me seems hopeless. Let me triumph over adversity when it plagues and bothers me. Help me tread upon the road to recovery. I am in the process of discovering who I am in you, who you have called me to be. How can I deal with the fear and the awkwardness I receive from others, picking up vibes in the spirit realm? I know I will walk in those shoes others have worn when interacting with me. Those frightened tingles I have experienced too, but it's only momentary. When you get alone like a burning house with somebody from the first instant, if only it could last forever. You can arrange things so I bump into that one night that I had a crush on again. You can help us go deeper, though the cost is getting steeper. As the years wear on, she emerges dripping from the water, and I am watching her stick extra layers on that bikini top. Staring transfixed, trying not to drool as she reaches out a hand to introduce herself. Each of us equally impressed and in awe of each other, wishing this miraculous moment could last forever, until she blazes off into the distance, leaving me to get on with my basic paint by numbers life. I can't help but beat myself up thinking of how I could have done things differently. Obviously I couldn't have stopped her progress for a mid-lap smooch. I didn't think she was gonna take off her goggles and let me see her beautiful eyes. It got a whole lot better when we weren't sharing our space with a plump lady. You know what they say, 3 is a crowd but 2 is company. I want to grab onto this beautiful moment and hold it in my heart forever. It kills me inside that I might have let her slip away into the night, but I know if you wanted to be mine, you can bring her back into my life.
Go away!
It's good to me to work in me, but that's far from my attraction. I'm not like some kind of gold digger. I was far more interested in her figurines. I don't know her well enough yet to know her spiritual affiliations. I just hope she is open to the gospel, so it won't be a deal breaker with my parents' approval. I have never been forced to come to that kind of romantic crossroads before, and I don't plan to start now. I need a woman whose heart is in the right place with God, or nothing at all. So what if I stumble and fall? Would you be there to pick up the pieces of my broken heart to set me apart, to be in the world, not of it? I am offering you my life willingly. I have unwittingly experienced my name being dragged through mud. You asked me to walk a radical path for your sake alone. Could she be the one to help me launch my ministry? Even if it's just being a house husband to our future kids, I would settle for that and not consider it less. Just to be a part of shaping the future. To instill the truth in those little miracles. That would be the biggest blessing ever, to have children of my own and make my mark on this world. My aim is to leave a legacy behind when I die. I don't want the oats I sow to be wild ones. I don't want my kids to say they never knew their daddy. I want to be one of those dudes who sticks around even when it gets tough. Even when the funds get low, even when we want to tear out each other's hair from disagreeing. I won't be fleeing from her side when times get tricky. I know I should have been that bold dude, sealed the deal, grabbed the phone out my bag, or got her to do it. Why do we try and copy other cats when God made all the creases on our palms and prints on our fingers original? You have crafted us unique like snowflakes. You mean for us to be caring and compassionate. You transcend what's fashionable. You restore what's been broken and lost in me. You have always assisted and guided me with all the stress and anxiety in this world, circling me like vultures round a dead body. You are enfolding me. I can hear your heart calling me. You are faithful to me when nobody else is. You have proved yourself worthy of praise. You have come through for me time after time, so sweet and sublime. The way you display your power, how you come through for me at the 11th hour. You cause my enemies to be devoured by their own selfish conceit, thinking they can ever possibly defeat you. It is obviously sheer foolishness. You are sure-footed. You will not slip or stumble in your steps. You have unfathomable depths to your heart. You are part and parcel with the improvement of my spirit. I want the two of us to be inseparable. Our lives are only irreparable if we try to fix them ourselves and don't stick them in your tool shed. You enable me to soldier on. When I feel drained emotionally, you restore my vigor. Keep me from pulling the trigger or stabbing myself to death, because I don't own a gun, so that kind of temptation is far beyond my reach anyway. I just want to live to please you and bring you cheer. Your perfect love casts out all fear. I'm panting for your living water like a thirsty deer. Help me be sincere. I don't need to play pretend like I've got no sins here. In my heart I still wrestle with, but with you I am purified. If I abide in you, if I leave no stone unturned or moral discrepancy undealt with, I felt you close to my heart. I need to do what pleases you. More than that, I just please myself. I'm sorry for all the things I do that cause you grief. Keep my conscience from becoming numb. Let me never change my core beliefs. I know I've got to get it together. You've got to do some heavy work on me. You need to rip some things away from me. Teach me to relate to certain individuals differently. There have been times when I haven't put you first in my life. I have treated you so cold and distant. I have resisted your reproach. I have committed atrocities in my thought life. I have failed to reciprocate tenderness. I didn't step up to the plate when affection was required of me. You know why I got fiery. You inspire me in ways no one else can. They may They may issue a lifetime ban on expressing our love to you in public schools, but they will never succeed in smothering your truth. Lord, educate the youth out of their ignorance. If they have not received the chance to get to know your word or your nature, let them not be so experiential. They missed out on the essential deep connection with you that comes from knowing you intimately, being acquainted with what you approve of and what sickens your heart. Like when our hope gets deferred by circumstances, you cry when we cry and rejoice when we rejoice. Let us be like the little dog with its ear cocked to the gramophone, listening to his master's voice. Let us tune into the rhythms of your heart. Let us never fool ourselves that we are able to live out a moral life or obtain security outside of you. It gives me chills and the most amazing thrills to think of how you chase away my gloom the second that you step into my room. Suddenly the world changes. My facial expression alters from crestfallen to hopeful. You are the rope that pulls me out of my well of misery. You are the maker of history, a beautiful mystery I intend to discover more of every day. You are a puzzle that entrances and enthralls me. Pick me up each time I'm falling. Help me when my life gets crawling. Rule over my heart. Keep it from cruelty, which I'm prone to. I'm never alone because I've got you living in me, my constant companion on life's long weary journey. I don't need to be ruled by my feelings and emotions. How did I become such an impulsive locomotive? Check my heart, but just let me not reckon a part of what you have established in me. You keep me living righteous when I want to do the opposite. You write your name over my heart and carve it onto me for all my time. Tangled within this mortal coil. So what if my plans are foiled, so long as yours still prevail? Though it doesn't always go smooth sailing, you were allowing the nailing of your body to the cross, 'cause you knew you would last beyond the grave. Death couldn't hold you down. You have risen above the earth to your throne in heaven. You were living inside of me now. I have been waiting for you to return to this planet and take me home. You know me more intimately and intricately than anyone else on earth. You predict my moves ahead of me making them. I can hear you warning me of the danger up ahead. Help me to dodge those icebergs. Keep me from destroying myself. I think that you are capable of doing exceedingly and abundantly above all that we may ask or think. Let us drink from your living waters of life. I was ready to sleep my life away. Any excuse will do. Feels like I'm drunk today. All my moves are so slow and sluggish I can barely lift a finger without it dropping back down again from tiredness. We have dealt with false alarm before, become so overcautious that we let the terror strike at our hearts and freeze the hands of our clock. It causes tears to well up in my eyes to think how I've misrepresented your truth. What picture do I present of you to a world that is lost, stripped, soulless, hungry for truth? Don't let me drown in the teardrops that often plop down my cheeks. Let me use each moment as a testimony of your atonement for my sins and my at oneness with your love. Your love is the purest. It's the cure to the fated stench that is my life. Without you're guiding my decisions. Always you are providing everything required for me to not just survive but thrive. And you will have that blessed hope that lingers beyond this lifetime. My constant source of companionship, the unalterable covenant keeping oracle of wisdom. The one who stays with me when no one else remains. You don't leave me stranded on this island of melancholy. You restore jollity when I face reproach, contempt and apathy. It's the worst thing being treated as if you don't even matter in the slightest. Do I treat you like that? Do I act curt when you attempt to heal my hurt? When you endeavour to get through to me? To see beyond my mockery, my desperate need for you? Perhaps I am not the best candidate to express your truth, but you use those unmentionable parts of your body too, for the purpose of bringing you glory. This is redemption story. You implore me to simply trust you unconditionally, like the way you love me. We impose so many conditions on whether we will believe in your existence. But if we do or not, you still do live and breathe throughout our lives. You don't have to give us everything we want in this life for you to reign supreme as the ultimate and only deity. For all we truly need is your salvation. If we have that certainty, then we have no reason to fear or worry. I am just about on my last leg. You are the all-sufficient one, efficiently working in me to nurture me and suckle me. El Shaddai, my mighty Saviour, many-breasted, one of a kind. All that we require is found in you alone. Let us intone our need for you. Hear our hearts' moans, the power of the crone rivers in your company, the bee drums. Obey the call of your magnetic voice. Let me make that choice to serve only you and swerve away from all contrary advice. You bring serenity to me when my spirit has been disturbed by a sinister force. You administer medicine to me when I'm tortured by guilt and fear in my insincerity. You stay with me even through my weary moments, when I feel like both giving up on you and myself. When you have achieved what you have achieved has to be believed in the realm of the spiritual in order to be realized in the natural. You have shown me the limitations of a life outside of you and how you stretch me beyond them. You expand my horizons like no one ever could. How is it that you are capable of running a universe, dealing with billions of complaining people all at once, running earth as well as heaven, raising us up above our pitfalls and despair? I know you're always there when I wear myself out, when I want to scream and shout, but it feels like nobody is listening to me. Still, I know you care, and I'm aware you're always conscious of my doubts and insecurities, of my struggle to maintain purity. You spent your time in obscurity, but you rose to prominence when you chose to make your voice heard in the temple, when you decided to be our shining example for the rest of the world to follow. It's hard to swallow the pill of bitterness, but thanks to you, we don't have to be two any longer. You free us from the oppressive grip of unforgiveness. Your spirit rises up within our own. You are forming a legion of true believers. You won't let us be deceived forever. You saw a more substantial future waiting for us than the one we had envisioned for ourselves. You are the medium by which dreams are achieved. You comfort me when I'm grieving. You keep the evil one from thieving my happiness. My mind is easily deceived by his trickery. You won't let the flame of your love flicker out from my heart without doing as much as you possibly can to reignite it. Though you are slighted, you won't be affrighted. You lighten my burdens. You lessen that demand on my back. You help me pack for my trips. I love the way you flip the script on me and never fail to keep me company. What am I without your love in my heart? What do I know that you have not taught me? That which I have learnt outside of you, which doesn't reflect your heart. Purge it from me now. Lord, please, I pray, get rid of all this sickness and decay in me. I know the only way to heaven is through you alone. Take this once stone cold heart and set it apart from the rest of the world. Let me lay down my life as a living sacrifice, as a free will offering for my Lord and King. Maybe I should have seized the day instead of letting it just slip away. I was never that good at cracking through the walls around people's minds. You surprise me when you reveal the contents of people's heads before they open up their eyes. You can tell what their natural personalities are truly like. I really don't know what it is about you that causes people to shake their fists and gnash their teeth. Why did they have such an insatiable desire to destroy you? That passion and energy should be honoured and celebrated, not shunned and denigrated. It's good to know one small part of me isn't going to waste. But what if you want more from me than to be a crash test dummy or a shopfront mannequin? What if you actually want me to do something significant with this life of mine? How would you handle it if people keep on messing with your expectations? That is not a battle you would ever have to face. That is not something you will ever have to experience, except for that which your daddy-like nature hid knowledge from yourself about the end. How we would be defeated forever if it was not for your conquering death. Removing the stinger of its bee-like tendency to annoy and irritate if we don't just follow the usual herd. I avoid certain herds because I want to keep my faculties. The world may look at me like I'm insane or diseased, but you breathe your holy nature directly into me. You help me to choose you when I want to lose you in the crowd, but then I remember all those times you stopped me getting swallowed up by a sea of flying colours. Peace out.